Gloom. A small choir of sing-song voices came from the other side of the door.
Hitch! What do you want?
Replied Sony, opening the door and staring down the three mares with a wry grin.
Oh!
Yelped the first one, a pale yellow mare with flowers in her mane.
Oh, what was her name again? Flora or something?
Sony could never keep track of these things, possibly because hardly any pony besides Hitch had bothered speaking to her until just recently.
Oh my gosh!
Said the one on the right, this one with a blue coat and a white mane.
Who are you? Where's Hitch? Jasmine?
Scolded the last of the trio.
That's Sunny Moon Scout. Star Scout.
Said Sunny, her eyelids dropping slightly.
Oh, right. Well, we were looking for Hitch. You know, the sheriff? This is the sheriff's office, isn't it?
Muttered her name might be Flora.
Yes, it is.
Said Sunny a little too loudly in hopes of cutting this short.
But Hitch left me in charge today. Did you need anything? Yes.
Said Jasmine.
We want Hitch. I can assure you that anything Hitch can do, I can do too. No, you can't. I'm not into mares.
Her words echoed about the street for a moment, and several ponies glanced over to see a blue-coated mare blushing beet red while her two friends pretended not to know her. The yellow one muttered at high speed.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course. I mean, my aunt organized the parade last year, and that's fine. I'm just saying. The point,
Interrupted the third one.
is that there's that big dance that they just announced. And we were wondering if Hitch might be available. Okay,
Interrupted Sunny.
I will give Hitch your message when he gets back. But if you want my advice,
The three mares leaned in. Sunny attempted an understanding smile.
don't get your hopes up, okay?
And with that, she closed the door.
Magic! Magic, magic, magic!
The chattering foals of bridalwood tumbled about the newly glowing crystals and tree trunks, sending off random sparks from their still untrained horns. Hitch tried to walk at a steady pace, but found himself forced to jump or duck every few steps as another blast of magic shot past. He had to remind himself not to scold the kids for disorderly conduct. He wasn't the sheriff of Bridalwood after all. And even if I was, he thought to himself, I can't say I blame them for getting so excited.
Wing feather mayonnaise!
Hitch couldn't help but smile a bit as he ducked another bolt of magic. Some of the kids were chanting a little song even.
No more jinxies anymore! No more jinxies anymore!
Hitch rather wished that he could share in that childlike energy, but his own source of excitement was a bit more nuanced. Tinged with fear, actually, which wasn't something that he liked to admit. He gazed at the door of the crystal tea room as he approached. After a long sigh, he opened the door and stepped inside. It had been a curiosity at first, an itch. He told Sunny that he wanted to visit Bridalwood again, just to get a better sense of what unicorns were like. Maybe actually drink some of the tea this time. You couldn't stop to appreciate the finer things when you're on the run, worried about palace guards arresting you for aiding and abetting the theft of their crown jewel, etc, etc. Of course, Sunny had agreed to the whole thing before he could even finish his monologue, and of course as he came along too, and they'd gone to the tea room together and reminisced about their adventure and how much had changed just in the last week, how things were shaping up in Zephyr Heights, and how they ought to visit the Pegasi next. But as the conversation went on, Hitch had found it harder and harder to pay attention. He kept looking up at the gray pony on stage, listening to the long rhyming sets of poetry that seemed to flow out of her like a mountain spring. He'd made an excuse to go talk to Alphabeetle for a moment and asked her name. Gloomy Sonnet, it turned out. There had been a conflicted expression on Alphabeetle's face. Truth is, the bartender had muttered, she wasn't born with that name. Well, let's just say that it's partly my fault, honestly. I was part of the crowd. I didn't know any better, but still. What are you talking about? Hitch had asked. It's, well, I'm not sure it's my place to say, honestly. She doesn't much talk about it these days. You'll have to ask her yourself. He'd spent another week thinking about her, wondering what kind of pony she was. Sunny had pried it out of him soon enough, and with her encouragement, he had finally decided to go back to Bridalwood, alone this time. Which is how he found himself striding into the tea room once again. Alphabeetle gave him a soft nod from the bar, which he returned in kind. He stepped up and ordered a drink. It's on the house, said the bartender. Oh, thanks. Hey, do you think I can talk to Gloomy? About what? He stopped, then leaned in. Is this about, the thing I mentioned before? Because I'm not so sure. Look, if she doesn't want to talk about that, it's fine. I don't care about her name. The truth is, there's this dance coming up, and I thought I might... Just then, he glanced to his left to see the mare herself at the edge of the stage, facing away from him. She was chatting with her drummer, the stallion with a green curly mane. Hitch watched her for a moment, taking in the strange grace that she somehow carried throughout her gloom. She is beautiful. He hurried over. Excuse me? He mumbled. No response. He tried again, a little louder. Excuse me. She turned around. Her amazing raspy voice drew in all of his attention, as if they were alone together in an empty room.
You need something?
Hey,
you're that earth pony. From before.
Yeah. He blushed a little. Hitch. She paused.
You're from,
Maritime Bay.
with the earth ponies.
Yeah, listen,
You ever get any visitors out that way? From outside?
There was a strangely intense look in her eyes then, kind of pleading almost. I mean, recently, sure, we've opened up the border and...
Before that?
Before, not that I know of. His expression fell back like a dimming candle.
Yeah, I figured.
She turned and stepped onto the staircase that led to the stage. But if you'd like to visit, Hitch stammered. You could, obviously, anytime. I'd like that. Or, what I mean is, I'd like to get to know you a little better.
What are you talking about?
Oh boy. Might as well come out with it. There's this dance. It's part of this sort of festival that we do every year for Hearts and Hooves Day. I don't know if you have that around here.
I know what it is.
She turned back to the stage, but her drummer called after her.
Gloom,
He said.
give the guy a chance. This could be good for you.
She sighed and turned back again. Hitch looked at her, then the drummer, then back to her again. Gloomy looked down at her hooves.
Are you seriously asking me out? On a date? Hearts and roses and all that?
Hitch took a breath. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I know I don't know you very well, obviously, and it's just a date. You know, if you don't like it, then that's okay. I just thought that we could...
Hitch,
She said.
I want you to know that I'm grateful for what you did. Bringing the tribes together and all that.
She raised her eyes to meet his, and her gaze was strangely vulnerable.
And now you want to dance? Look, if things were better, I might say yes, but I've got a lot on my mind right now, okay? I've got other things to think about.
Hitch nodded slowly. Okay then. I'm sorry.
Listen,
She said.
I'm not always good at normal conversation, but
She looked to the side.
I've got a poem, if you want to hear it. Maybe it'll help you understand.
Yeah, absolutely. She walked up the stairs with her drummer in tow. She took her place at the microphone while Hitch took a seat at an empty table in the front row. The drummer began his soothing beat, and Gloomy's raspy voice filled the room.
Earth pony chinks, something stinks. In the misty town of bridals, where no pony ever thinks. Where all the neighbors rise and shine at the bitter gasp of twilight, with laughter in their revelry in the middle of the night. Where are you? Says the gardener, as he tramples through my yard. Isn't this a day of triumph? Says he who left this pony charred. Oh, the great excuse of memory, and the crowd that's all pretending that they frolic in the daytime, though the day long saw its ending. Where were you? I whisper coldly. When the sun did truly rise. I'm the one who woke on time. Tease me not with all of your lies. I was there, and I remember. A little filly bounds to Jinx, it was I who held her closer. In the town where no one thinks, and they told me I was wicked. And they told her she was worse. And all the foolish ponies took her blessing for a curse. And she ran away one summer, so to spare me all the pain. And I searched 1,000 twilights through the bitter pounding rain. And now too late the ponies rise, and to go about their glory day. But tell me, where's the filly gone? To Zephyr Heights or Maritime Bay? No single word is heard of her. No hoof prints can be found. It's been 3 years since she's been seen, and my efforts do confound. I try to trace the heart-made chain, and all I find are broken links. while every pony celebrates the disappearing Jinx.
The crowd in the tea room went quiet. Hitch could barely breathe. He looked over at Alphabeetle, who appeared to be holding back tears. Gloomy slowly looked down at Hitch, gazing at him with impenetrable sorrow. Slowly, without a sound, she turned and walked off stage, disappearing behind the curtain. Hitch got up and walked to the bar. What was that? Alphabeetle looked away. I shouldn't really... That wasn't just a story, was it? Not the way you reacted. The whole room went dead quiet. What do they know that I don't? She's had a hard time. Why? She had a sister, said Alphabeetle, nearly sobbing. A younger sister. When she was born, her parents... They kept her hidden. For a long time. They didn't even want her, couldn't even give her a proper name. So she lived with Gloomy for a while. It was a big secret, and then one day the whole town found out, and we weren't very... I'm so sorry. Honestly, I am. I didn't know any better. I didn't realize. What are you talking about? Her parents didn't want her? Why? Why was it a secret? Why did every pony... Alphabeetle was crying now. Because she was... Somehow, she was born... She was... Hitch's eyes went wide. Oh my god, he whispered.
Earth Pony Jinx.
Damn, that's clever. I didn't really think about that. That was pretty sad too, it can really get you in there. But aside from all the sadness and whatnot, this was very, very well done. Anyways, let's get on to our hopefully not so gloomy donators. Top donators are 630, Peter Coulthard, J Tinman, Darkside Only One Thing, and Dash of Evergreen. Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel Skies, Austin Rollins, Crazy Killer 557, Stu Hex, Sword Brother and Mordred, Omicron Lowry, Will, Chris Twinkie, Hadzaza, Ridesoul, Dospo, Maverick, and many more awesome people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.